It is the second day of the new year. I just got done. Actually, I don't know if I'm done. I might add a few more things to this. But I just got done working on I guess, vision board, manifestation board, whatever you want to call it. I made one last year. And it's crazy to look at because I feel like a lot of the things have, I won't say like come true, but they have like shown up in very noticeable ways in my life. I was talking to one of my friends about how I wish I had like a documentary crew that could like follow me around and like make content with good equipment and stuff like that. But honestly, it doesn't really matter about your equipment. It matters that you start. This is something that my friend said to me. And so I'm starting. And a little bit of a story time. So today is the first day of stepping into what I think we'll call the Stay Feral movement. So my friend actually got me this key tag. This same friend has all the great ideas, by the way. So this says Stay Feral. I opened this on Christmas Day and something like clicked in my brain. Like something literally like snapped in a good way. And I was like, oh man, this gift hit me in a time where I was pulling my podcast out of the archives, literally pulling it off the shelf, blowing off the freaking dust from 2022, re-listening to some things. And there's a lot of things. The podcast is called Creatives Off the Clock, by the way. And I talk to creative people who take time to really nourish their creative self. I talk to them about mental health and burnout and just ways to stay balanced and stuff like that. And I realized, like, as I'm pulling out these old pieces, there's just like a little flame that was ignited again. And I was like, I need to get back to this. But a lot of it felt like stale in a way. The conversations themselves are great and wholesome. And I made a new episode with a creative that I so truly enjoy. And as I was recording with her, I was sitting there thinking like, this needs to be more expansive. This needs to be more expansive. And so literally I had a moment where I was thinking like, I'm thinking too small, like Creatives Off the Clock. Why are we involved in the clock? Like, why is the clock involved? Why are we still talking about the like patriarchal concept of time, like very bound concept of time, thinking that like subconsciously creatives off the clock, we're waiting until we're off the clock to be creative, when that is not suggested. Like, that is not the recommendation for anybody. That is not my wish for anybody. And then I have a wall of various things that continue to inspire me, but this is one. I'm gonna flip around. I've done research on this. I don't think the quote quite wholly belongs to Goethe, but it says, whatever you can do or dream you can, begin. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Begin it now. And so I've been thinking, like, the stay feral idea, like, would not leave me alone. Since Christmas Day would not leave me alone. It's January 2nd now. And so it was like, this needs to be bigger. This needs to be, like, I need to talk to people about staying feral in so many more expansive ways, so many different sectors, because like our feralness, if we think about the cultural connotation about being feral and being generally just like unhinged in a really good way, like that's only going to draw us closer to our creativity. So it's like, I need to have those conversations with people. Like, it needs to be more expansive. And I need to build it. And I need to build it. Anyways, yesterday, January 1st, I spent maybe 6 hours putting together a website. I was talking with one of my other friends about what ideally like the brand is, because my brain thinks about brands and logos and stuff like that, and like what it encapsulates. And so I thought, there's a pop-up event that I've wanted to host for a really long time. I am pretty entrenched in the drum and bass community here in downtown Denver. And I thought, well, what if I had an event that was like making, so like making with your hands, a craft or something, and then we have local artists being at the event, DJing the event, and it goes from like a crafting session to a party. But people can connect over trying something, a craft that they've never tried before, something like that. And so I was like, oh my gosh, what if it comes down to like feral creativity? Like I am now approaching this point in my life where I need to be feral with my creativity. I need to be relentless with my creativity. And I want other people to do the same. So the Feral Creatives, Collective Society is a lot. And my friend and I talked about this, about how extra that sounds. Also, when you line up all the words, it definitely spells FCKS. So there's just a hidden little, fuck the system. And I believe the words that they were using was punk socialism. And I spell collective the German way. Because I have a background in German and studies and literature and stuff like that, but that's neither here nor there. But it like needs to be over the top. It needs to be relentless. It needs to be so different from anything that I've done before. Like, have you ever been struck with an idea and you're like, if I don't do this, I will be tortured by this? That's essentially what's happening in my brain right now. So I built the website. It's such a great way to build community too. And like to be able to host an event where everybody wins something. The artists get to share their craft. You get to make crafts. Like you get to indulge in your creativity in a space apart that lets you be creative in maybe a way you've never done before. And to host the event, to put on the event, charging a small amount, but having those funds go back directly into mutual aid efforts in the community. Like, I don't know, I keep thinking about how it is such a win-win-win, and like I can't not, I also want to document this process because it's going to be difficult and it's going to be hard because it's not something I've ever done before, but it's like the skill set that I possess is like, how can I not like do a thing that involves vibe curation, marketing, networking, people, music, art? Like it encompasses all the best things. So yeah, that's what's coming. Stay tuned. But we deserve, like everybody in this world deserves to be their most feral creative self. And we're going to try it and see what happens. And what does support for local venues who literally exist to create these third spaces for people, like what would it look like to bring like a barrage of 50 people in to do art, to listen to art, and then patronize like the establishment? Like it's literally all tied together and it's such a win-win-win. And I think something that I've been craving and something that I've noticed that people are craving are third spaces and just places where they can be apart. Maybe not do the same old, like out party, whatever, like nothing wrong with that. It's just like being in a new way, like taking a second to be in a new way that maybe you've not been before.